Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Day in History, our nightly look back at a specific day in history, where we take a look back at the events of a day, the historic context in which those events took place, and the historic ramifications of those events. As always, if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button, the bell notification icon to be alerted anytime I post new content, and tell a friend. So let's get back to this day in history after a slight detour. I'm sure we'll take another one in the coming months, but let's get back on the road again. And on this day, in 1788, the United States Constitution was ratified when New Hampshire became the 9th state to join the new Union. The new government first convened the following March and passed the first 12 amendments to the Constitution in September of 1789. New Hampshire was the 9th state to ratify the Constitution, and that was the 3/5 requisite required for ratification of the Constitution. That is still a part of the Constitution. You have to have 3/5 to ratify the Constitution. You have to have a 2/3 majority of both houses of Congress, and then 3/5 of the states to ratify an amendment. And that was the deal with ratifying the new Constitution. This replaced the Articles of Confederation, which had governed the country from the end of the Revolutionary War up until this point. Those were a disaster. And speaking of the Constitution, one of the things the Constitution did was it created this office called the Presidency and the Vice Presidency, found in Article 2. And the Presidency was the head of the executive branch and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. And the Vice President was President of the Senate. And although it wasn't clear at the time, by custom and later by a new amendment to the Constitution, it became law that the Vice President would succeed the President in the event of an impeachment, death, or resignation. So, on the U.S. government's official printing website, the U.S. Government Printing Office, you can order official portraits of the President and the Vice President, the Cabinet, and a whole assortment of other government officials. Well, I recently did so. One, out of general curiosity, and two, just because I'm a history buff like that. So, when you fill out your request, I ordered mine near the end of May, I believe. May have been the first part of June. It's about 3 weeks ago. I put my order in, and a few days ago, they arrived. And I just opened the package a few moments ago and realized I'd made a huge mistake. When displaying the pictures, the President and the Vice President's pictures have to be displayed in a certain way. Mr. Trump will go over there. Mr. Pence will go right there, left and right. And the President, or the Vice President's picture cannot be bigger than the President. We're going to probably have to break that rule on displaying these pictures. This is the 8x10 that I received of Donald J. Trump, the current President of the United States. You see, we've got the hair here, the grin, all of that. So, I had believed that I had ordered an 8x10 of the Vice President as well, but no, I had ordered an 11x4. And here is the much larger picture of the current Vice President of the United States of America, Mike Pence. And as you can see, Mike Pence has the much more natural hair than this guy. And just a much more so these two pictures are the official pictures of Pence and Trump that hang in U.S. government federal buildings. They hang in the United States embassies, courthouses, social security offices, military bases out, and even some classrooms of the United States. Of course, that's a personal decision that the teacher may make to hang them. But yes, I found it a little odd that the picture that I ordered of Pence was larger than Trump. So I'm going to have to go back and reorder a picture of this guy. And eventually you'll see them in the videos displayed up here, and at a later date, when we make videos next year, after the new president takes office, if Joe Biden wins, we'll replace the pictures up there with the current ones, and these will go into a file folder. Yes. That is all of that for today. We'll continue to cover this day in history and other topical topics in the weeks and months to come. I'll see you all later.